Did John Brown have a military plan?
Did John Brown have a military plan? John Brown was a good military strategist and a very good military tactician. Now, I am certain that everyone who just heard me say that says, "You are crazy. John Brown had no military plan. In fact, he was an idiot." But the point I'm making is, and bear with me here for a moment, is that Brown has not been studied as a military man. Now, there's been many books written on Brown and his religion and how that influenced his decision. There have been books written on Brown on whether he was sane or insane. There have been books written on Brown in terms of how strong was he as an abolitionist. There have been books written on Brown as to how he separated, divided, carved the United States apart. They're much grander, more philosophical perspectives. But if you get down to it, what was John Brown doing? Brown was making war against slavery. To make war, you must have a military plan. And Brown had one. He had one. And actually, it's a pretty good one. It's based on the concept of guerrilla warfare. It's based on the principle that we're going to have small forces of men who are well trained, well disciplined, who have specific goals in mind, who are going to strike hard, strike precisely, and then move from one target to another so the enemy can never catch up. And specifically, the plan is this. The mountains are the key to the plan. We're going to use the mountains of Virginia and Tennessee and Georgia and Alabama and North Carolina. Those mountains become our fortresses. We're going to create what I refer to as the Highway to Freedom, which is similar to the Underground Railroad, except this. Brown intends to move masses of people rather than individuals here and there and give them protection as they move from one fortified location to another in the mountains of Appalachia, moving from south to north. He intends to seize the weapons of Harpers Ferry to ensure that he can defend these people as he's moving them from south to north. He has a base of operations established, a logistics base of operations established with a railroad head in Franklin County, Pennsylvania, Chambersburg. Franklin County, Pennsylvania is a hotbed of Underground Railroad activity. This will be the termination of Brown's venture as he brings men, women, and children, journeying from the south across the Mason-Dixon line into Pennsylvania, where he then will have plenty of support to further distribute former slaves north, out of danger and into protection. And so he's got a good plan that is going to involve guerrilla tactics. He's going to hit strategic points. And basically, Brown's military plan is going to focus on economic disruption. He intends to use military methods to create economic chaos in the South. And what I mean by that is that basically Brown's plan, military plan, is to seize property, to take property, slaves being property. And if that slave property disappears, you lose money. Financially, you begin to lose. And if the slave investments that you have suddenly disappear, you become bankrupt. And so by quick hitting tactical guerrilla maneuvers at strategic key positions throughout the Deep South, the Middle South, and the Upper South, Brown knows that he can use guerrilla military tactics to undermine the economy of slavery. This will be a protracted war. It is not conventional army against army. It is definitely hit, chase, strike, move, small, compact, disciplined, trained. And he had experience in Kansas with this kind of warfare. He intended to bring his Kansas experience into Virginia and the rest of the South. He had a very defined plan. He did not share it. He kept it secret. Very few knew about it except for his principal lieutenants. Even his main financial backers in New England, the North, didn't know what the plan was, other than John Brown intended to strike a blow against slavery. But in his mind, he had it outlined as to how he would perform it.
510.